Shame!
When I think about the Avengers and how each of these characters sort of represents something that's very important to us, that's why they've caught on. And it's a little bit sad that Captain America, for example, is in these films because, of course, he is supposed to be a representation of American greatness. He's a World War II veteran, right? What better example from our history of something we like to look to and say that we were at one point the saviors of the world and we should be proud of ourselves. But of course, Captain America does not see modern society and go, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. Look at what the sexual revolution has done. Homosexual marriage is now the law of the land. People are transgender. I mean, if you really had somebody from the 1940s, transported to modern America, they probably wouldn't be fighting whatever superhero villain Captain America's chasing. He'd be decrying the culture.
Well, he'd be sad because people are not connected, right? They're completely consumed by their desire to be known on the internet instead of to know their neighbors.
But I guess my point with all of it is Captain America as a character gives you this sort of bizarre caricature of American greatness that never challenges us. Now, there are a few moments because I saw the first Avengers film. I never really got into them, but I was in high school when it came out, and there's like a couple lines they put in there that are kind of funny and sort of harken back to him being a guy from the 40s. Like someone refers to Thor as a god, and he goes, "There's only one god, and he doesn't dress like that." Something like that. Like a funny line here, though. Okay, that's kind of believable. You're trying to take into account the time and place his character is from, but. Yeah, for the most part, like they're obviously not willing to get politically incorrect with Captain America's character. And I understand why.
Incorrect, but they are willing to follow progressive political ideology, exactly, right? They're not willing to be politically neutral. That's one of the things that bothers me. Like there's no balance of thought in this movie. It's a complete proposition of left it's props up left culture, and also doesn't give you actually anything aspirational to look forward to.
Yeah.
I feel like
except for consumption. Consume. Buy. Look forward to our next movie. Buy more of our products, right?
Yeah. And why though? Like there are things with every movie, right? Like we've had lunchboxes, thermoses. Like this is something that Hollywood has done with their movies for a long, long time. I'm not gonna fight that. Like if a little kid sees a superhero movie, they're gonna want to wear their T-shirt or they're gonna want to buy the Halloween costume. And I don't, I'm okay with capitalism enough to be like, yes, go make other products and continue to make money. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The problem is when people become completely obsessed and they aren't able to build lives outside of this dissatisfaction culture. They like the Avengers, they don't see anyone like that in real life, so then they wait for the next movie, and instead of thinking like learning moral lessons, like how do I serve my community, how do I push forward, it becomes about just waiting on this fictional world. Like I think people are so interested in avoiding the reality of their lives because then you'd have to take ownership of it and you'd have to be responsible, that they would rather fall into these deep complex fantasy worlds. And I have concerns about that. The same way that I have concerns about people who are like, I want to buy Fisher-Price RuPaul drag toys because I think they're funny and I'm an adult and like it's not my problem. It's like, why are you buying children's toys?
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to a drag show in person, that would be one thing. If you wanted to, I don't know, buy RuPaul drag makeup, I would understand the connection more because those things are related. It's performance, it's makeup, whatever. Why are you buying children's toys that represent this thing?
Yep.
How does that fit into your soul? Are you going to play with them? Or are they just going to sit on your bookshelf and you look at them? Either one
it's
of those
creepy. There's no way you can slice it where it's not creepy.
Right.
There's a lot I want to say about that. Firstly, with the point about Avengers in this fantasy land, I mentioned this on Timcast the other day, but before the Second World War, superheroes usually just policed their own community or city. And so Batman would kind of go around beating up bank robbers and bad guys, whatever it is. Superman would fight bad people. Of course, he had these extraordinary powers. I'm not saying these comics were necessarily grounded and down to earth, but after World War II and during World War II, the paradigm kind of shifted. Now you had these stories about the superhero going out and saving the world. Now, it's not to say that there's never a case to be made for a large-scale foreign war. I mean, can be necessary. World War II, I believe, was necessary. World War I was not. And the only reason World War II had to happen was because of World War I and us getting involved with the Treaty of Versailles. But that's, a story for another time. I believe that we distract ourselves from the issues in our immediate surroundings by pretending that we are saviors of the world. So instead of helping, improve circumstances in our own community, helping improve our families, even just our own personal life, we have to try to solve problems on the other side of the country or on the other side of the world. And that's part of the idea that the Avengers sells people. Now, I don't want to make it out to seem like I'm arguing that the Avengers as a film franchise is everything wrong with our culture. I'm sort of harping on this one specifically because I find it fascinating about what the Avengers says about our cultural morality, because it's so successful. It's so massively successful. I think it's worth examining. And I'm not saying that there are necessarily no good lessons that they try to work into those films. Again, it's been ages since I've seen them. I couldn't tell you. But what I do know is this idea that I'm going to save the world by focusing on things around me. There's this idea of first and second things that C.S. Lewis talks about. When you focus on the first things, you get second things, right? They're all important. When someone tries to focus on the secondary thing, not only do they not get the first thing, they don't get the second thing, right? If you want to save the world, you got to focus on yourself and your family, the things closest to you. And then that ends up growing out into the greater community and doing good things for the world overall. If you try to skip ahead of the first part, right? You just try to go save the world. Well, not only are you not going to save the world, but now you lose the first things as well. You're not going to have quite as good of a family life. You're not going to be able to save your community from whatever it is trying to destroy it, etc.